Hello. Today I'm going to try something a little different. I call it Thoughts on the Fly from God's Word. And I want us to look in the book of Ecclesiastes. And I'd like to share some thoughts from a few passages that I have underlined in this book. First of all, at the very beginning in chapter 1, verse 2, he starts off by saying, meaningless, says the teacher. Utter meaningless. Everything is meaningless. You can tell right off the bat that this doesn't start off on a positive note, does it? Throughout this book, we see that Solomon, who wrote it, goes through talking about how he tried a lot of different things, looking for something that had purpose and meaning. So let me share just a couple of thoughts that I had underlined in this book as we consider our search for meaning and purpose. In chapter 2, verse 26, to the man who pleases him, God gives wisdom, knowledge, and happiness. But to the sinner, he gives the task of gathering and storing up wealth to hand it over to the one who pleases God. Wisdom, knowledge, and happiness, he says, if we want those things, we need to be one who's pursuing to please God. I find that encouraging. If we want to be at peace and have joy and contentment, we need to be searching to please God. Another one I'd like to share is from chapter 5, verse 10. Whoever loves money never has money enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with his income. That's the problem with greed. You never have enough. You get the amount you want now, and it's not enough. A little later in that chapter, in verse 18, it says, Then I realized that it is good and proper for a man to eat and drink, and to find satisfaction in his toilsome labor under the sun, during the few days of life God has given him, for this is his lot. Moreover, when God gives any man wealth and possessions and enables him to enjoy them, to accept his lot and be happy in his work, this is a gift from God. Though the money does not bring satisfaction in and of itself, toilsome labor, the pursuit of something worthy, does. And he also mentions here that those whom God does bless with wealth, and they can enjoy it because they're not greedy for it, it's a gift from God. And if God blesses you with wealth, he will bless you all the more spiritually and in your mind and heart if you're using it to honor him. Use what God has blessed you with to serve him. That's what really brings us contentment, is our service to the Lord. A little later in chapter 8, on a different subject, when the sentence for a crime is not quickly carried out, the hearts of the people are filled with schemes to do wrong. I know we have laws in our land, and when someone is found guilty, it's not always very quickly that the sentence is carried out. After appeal, sometimes they may be arrested, confined, but sometimes the penalty, it might be years before it's carried out. Just look at those who are guilty of murder and crimes such as that and are on death row. They're on death row for 15 to 20 years sometimes before the sentence is ever carried out. That's not a very good deterrent. And what he says here is basically if the sentence carried out quickly, it is a deterrent. And it reduces the schemes that others may have, saying, oh, it's not going to worry about it. It's going to be forever before they enact that sentence anyway. In some countries, I remember visiting one country in the Middle East, when someone was guilty of something, even if it was theft, they were sentenced in very short order, in a matter of days or weeks at the most. They didn't have appeal after appeal and years and years and years waiting for a sentence to be enacted. Here's another passage. No one can comprehend what goes on under the sun. Despite all his efforts to search it out, man cannot discover its meaning. Even if a wise man claims he knows, he cannot really comprehend it. That is so true. Man tries to learn everything and figure everything out, and no matter how wise, how smart he may be, all his efforts to search out the truth and to know things will be in vain, because you cannot know everything. We are not designed to be able to know everything, but we know one who does, and that's the Lord our God. He closes out his book in chapter 12, verse 13 and 14 by saying this: Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. See, even Solomon tried all kinds of different things in pursuit of happiness and purpose. But in the end, he came to the conclusion, fear God and keep his commands, for that's the duty of man. And I find that to be so true. God's going to bring every deed we do, as it says, into judgment, every hidden thing, whether good or evil, and he knows the good and the evil we've done. But the conclusion of the matter is to seek after God, to fear him. And if we do that, we will find that life is not meaningless. It's full of purpose. And I pray that you can find that purpose of God's will in your life too. To fear God is not to be terrified or afraid of him, but to be in awe of him. That he is all-knowing. He is omnipresent. He is everywhere. He sees it all. And if we fear him in that light, respect him and serve him in awe, we're going to find purpose and meaning. And I hope you do too. Have a blessed day.